now.
All right, good. Thank God. Whew, that's a nightmare of mine.
So what did you make of the press conference?
There's nothing in there. Not quite sure. It's just some announce about the death on arrival, but I don't see anything regarding any change in the policy from that press conference. So.
Did you anticipate that, Doc? Because her open, right? When she opened and she was like, boom, 8 deaths over the weekend, dead on arrival. This is what's happening. I thought for sure she was like setting the table to say, hey, here's what we're going to do. We're going to close the bars, or we're going to, do whatever.
Yeah, we definitely need to have some restriction. I tell you, we're probably still going up. We're not even curve anything yet.
Oh gosh.
I tell you, the big clinic like AMC, SDA, and FSP, we just like the pulse of the community, and I tell you, we just getting killed. We just getting hammered. So as long as we can see this 20 plus positive in the clinic with sick patient, we're not slowing down.
Doctor, when you've been with the Physicians Advisory Group, like Chris mentioned, since the beginning of this whole thing, so you've been a part of these sorts of discussions, and I'm sure lockdown has come up in the past. You've talked about restrictions at the beginning of this surge. What do you think is the issue that we're not seeing more restrictions in place? We're not seeing bars closed. All I hear is let's go back to basics. It worked in the past, but we're dealing with the Delta variant. It's like they've been saying, it's more contagious. The infection transmissibility rate, it's a lot quicker. It's spreading faster. And really, how can we just continue to say, just wear your mask, get the shot, watch your social distance? It just seems like something drastic needs to happen. We need to control the spread.
I'm just not quite sure. We close certain section of the business, especially the bar, for a long time because we know that's the cluster. The only thing difference now in the last 2 surges, we are so reluctant, for whatever reason is, to close the bar. I don't know why. It's frustrating. I tell you, Chris talked about the compassion fatigue yesterday. And I tell you, it's from my patient perspective, they see that on the healthcare worker, and it is sad. I'll tell you, we are getting beat up, and I wish that the policymaker, like the Cal and the governor, they need to go to the testing site. They need to go to the GMHER, the hospital, GRMC, and just spend a day there, and even at the big clinic, to see how things run. And I tell you, I'm not quite sure how long this whole healthcare system is going to last. Because I'm telling you, we're not even begin to control this one yet. It's going to get worse. So I'm not quite sure. This is frustrating. You can make all the policy, but people that at the front line, the policemen, the firefighter, the ER, the hospital, the clinic, I tell you, they have so good a hearted, but at a certain point, they're gonna break down. It's and we don't do anything. I don't think we listen to them. Seriously. Dr. Allen and the physician from GMC are very nice yesterday, and I tell you, but they know they can break anytime. Mm-hmm. It's hard. It's very hard. I'm telling you, I don't know how we're gonna pass the message. Instead telling you, just go in there. I talked to your physician and at GMH and endorsed some physician work to them. And the physician that that I know is so upbeated. I can hear in their voice. It's frustrated. They tire. And I could imagine to be in their place in the emergency room. At the clinic level, I think it's bad, but at their level, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
my heart for them.
So what would you, if you were still the chairperson of the Physicians Advisory Group, what would you be recommending to the governor right now?
Put a restriction immediately, like now.
Like what?
You gotta close the bar. That's number one. And low down the gathering down to about 10 at this point. We have to, because the total lockdown is not an option. The only one that survived the total lockdown is the people that work for Gongguan. Every private business, every private entity, every person that works for a private company will suffer. And I tell you, we cannot afford to do that.
But Doc, let me just play the devil's advocate here, right? So the governor has $600 million in the bank. When you talk about some type of lockdown, and I'm not sure, are we talking about like lockdown, or are we just talking about scaling back some major restrictions, right? But the governor has the money. She has the money to help the businesses if she's going to control the spread by, limiting what they're going to do. And we have the money. So what would you say to that?
Yeah, I think the money should go out to help people. I think it really needs to go out and help people. We don't have any more federal money coming in, and this Delta virus is still, to me, it's getting worse. We have other variants in the community going to come up in the future. I think the earmark for the hospital, 370 million. You're talking about 5-10 years from now, if ever going to happen. That money is right now is need to be geared toward the people. I tell you, I know the new hospital is very important to have. Okay, but at this point, to earmark for something so far out, at the same time that the whole island suffering is they got to change in their thinking somehow. I'm a physician, but to me, the healthcare is part of my work. And I think that I know the new hospital is important, like I say, but it's so far out. And I think that we can work in a different way to get the federal fund to build one. But at this point, you have 300 million sitting in the bank, and people don't have a job, they don't have health insurance. The power get turned off. It's kind of hard to see. And again, there's the biggest thing that we haven't talked about is depression and suicide. I tell you, we have not even touched that on this past year and a half.
Yeah, it's depressing.
Yeah. So it's but you got to. I'm telling you, the restriction had to become immediately. I do not see how we are not doing that. We now week number 6, number 7 now, and everything have not been changed for the last 2 weeks, right? Nothing. But I said the number will continue to go up, guys. We're going to be triple digit for quite a while. I think that report 267 and 30 positive yesterday. There's a fluke there somewhere, but it's not 30.
Well, it was 30 out of 264 tests, so the positivity rate was still up there. But you're right, the way they're reporting the numbers from over the weekend.
Total 174.
The total was 174. So usually on a Monday we get the cumulative results, and yesterday was 30 because they reported what they would normally report on a Monday on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, so
correct.
From the clinic standpoint, I tell you it's way over 100 because clinic alone we have over 20 yesterday, so we know that's not slowing down.
Yeah.
And so we have to do something right away because until we dig ourselves a hole. So this virus either is going to burn out by itself in several weeks, and the hospital and healthcare going to bear the burden. Or we have to put restriction and it take 2 cycles on the virus, so it take about 3 to 4 weeks for it to come down, even if we put the restriction together.
Mm-hmm. Doc, can you talk a little bit more about the restrictions? Because I know you said 10, but the governor's already, her executive order, refined executive order, it's 10 vaccinated individuals.
Right.
Indoors, 25 vaccinated individuals. Outdoors, 100%, right? Occupancy.
Yeah.
For the restaurants and the bars. No, this doesn't apply to, I think, church or funerals, things like that. So when you say restrictions, can you be more specific?
Yeah, I think that 10 should be restriction across the board, period, vaccinated, unvaccinated. I think the church and every gathering, even a restaurant business, everything needs to go down to 50% and social distance. And the high-risk business like bar, it got to be closed completely. We have to go back to several months ago where we did the same just to try to curb this virus. So I would say 50% of the business, even the church, like I say, we have to do that. Because right now, we're not doing anything different. So 100% on the surge of this magnitude and this on the Delta variants, the longer we wait, the worse we're going to get.
What do you think it is? Is it the politics? What is it? I'm still trying to figure out, why aren't we taking more drastic measures, more stricter, restrictions?
I think that, I tell you, we cannot look at the hospital, and that's one of the decision makers that a lot of people not ICU patient, and that's what we hear talking all the time. But as a physician, I tell you, and I don't think that any physician that truly see COVID would tell you that ICU or non-ICU should be treated the same. It's going to take a lot of manpower, put the healthcare people at the great risk, and take the bed away from a non-COVID patient. So we all treat them the same, either they stay a week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. Every admission to the hospital should be the same, and that should be strictly on decision making on what restrictions should be made. Right now we're in the 70. Right now, I would say that there's a possibility that we hit 100, and that's reality. If we keep going with triple digit in the community, we start seeing children as young as less than 2 months old now that turn positive. It's hard. Some children don't get sick, but again, you can't afford to lose a child. And I know we have one pediatric patient in the hospital, but we don't want to follow the trend in the state that children hospital are again full. So those are I think the hospital should be the main decision maker on the restriction. And right now at 70 something, I know we have 2 hospitals now that take COVID, but it's just time to really put a restriction. I say 50% of all the occupancy in the hospital, in the church, the business, the restaurant, everything else, and certain business like the bar had to be closed temporarily at this point in order to curb the surge. Again, and encourage people to go out and get immunization. That's one of the big part to fight this virus, and people should go out there. We still have certain percentage of people out there that still are in the borderline of make decision, and I would say that to get out and get your vaccination, so that way, if you get sick, at least the severity is not there, so you don't end up in the hospital. We have fully vaccinated people in the hospital, but you can see that you're getting older now. So I think the vaccine for the elderly, start to wean off as expected. So, like I said, when we get triple digit in the community, it's going to get to the elderly.
Right.
So we got to put the elderly by this search somehow. The only way you can do it is through restriction.
Right, Doc. But right now, the restrictions we have in place, they only target the unvaccinated.
I understand. That's what my concern is. I understand that the target unvaccinated, but remember, restriction got to go across everybody. The vaccinated people still can transmit the virus, as we well known. So if we don't restrict the vaccinated also, temporarily the surge is over, then we continue to have the surge. Okay.
Doc, so you don't think we're in the eye of the storm? Because the governor yesterday in the press conference said that we're in the eye of the storm right now.
We not even come close yet. If we don't do restriction, we will continue to go into the eye. I don't see what we do anything different, sorry, right now.
We're in the eye of the most horrendous storm.
4 weeks ago.
Does she know the eye is like the calm part? Because if this is the calm part, bro, I don't want to see the other half. Let's check.
It's very important. So we had to do that. But Sabrina, we talked about the silent hypoxia before,
right?
And we need to remind people again. And when we identify a positive person, especially the high risk one, we always stress about the silent hypoxia, that you stay at home. And what's the difference with this is that so you have a normal person that dropped the oxygen saturation less than 95 down to 92, 91%. A normal person would feel it. But with this COVID, you don't feel it. And that's the difference. And when you start feeling it, it's really too late. You really have to run really quick. You might feel tired. You might feel drowsy. But you're not gasping for air yet. Okay, but I'm telling you, you're going to feel tired, feel drowsy. And you think, well, I'm just tired because I'm sick. And that's the huge mistake right there. That's what you need to go right away. And again, post-ox is something that very important to have. We bought about 1,000 post-ox at AMC, and we give it out to the people in high risk, at free of charge, just because we know that that's very important for them to have.
Wow.
So somehow we need to let the high risk patient know that it's very important to monitor the pulse ox multiple times a day, despite how you feel. Okay, because like I say, you can drop down to 90% and you just feel just correct, like normal. But when it hits you, it's like a hammer. So you really have to stress that in a high risk patient, especially you have multiple comorbidity.
And so we did follow the doctor's orders. Dr. Mike Cruz, as well as Dr. Hoa, has suggested getting the pulse oximeter. Sabrina was able to get one at the drugstore?
Yes, at the pharmacy.
A pharmacy, yes. $40.
Right.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah, she got the nice one.
Okay.
This one has Bluetooth, right?
Yeah, you can
all right, Doc. So
on it.
I got it because we knew you were coming on the show, and people who may not have seen a pulse oximeter or don't know what it is, we were hoping that you could kind of walk us through how to use this thing.
Okay. It's very easy to use.
Yeah. Well, how do you read it? I just don't know. So.
Very small. You can put that in your purse or carry that on your pocket, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to first turn the on button first.
Oh yeah, turn it on. I'm doing that.
That's key.
You turn it on and then you put your finger in, Bree.
Yeah, you can put your index finger in there. That's probably the most common finger people use.
It doesn't matter if it's left or right? Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It should be the same. And you have two numbers there. One is your heart rate. And then one is the pulse oximeter that have the oxygen saturation on it. And you just have to look at the oxygen saturation. Never mind the heart rate, but the O2 sat is very important to look at. And anything, you should be above 95%. Give it a minute or two to kind of read it. Okay, so it's going to bounce up and down. But after about a minute or two, you should be on the average where you are already. So if below 95%, take some nice deep breath, and if it doesn't go up above 95%, then you have to be very careful. Like I say, you do not have to have any symptom. If that number go down to 92, if you breathe normal, you have to emergency room. I tell you, it's just not normal for anyone to be at 92%. Again, this virus, at 92%, you don't feel nothing. Okay, unlike when you don't have the virus, 92% you will feel something. So
it's
that's why they have
99 over, I guess, 86.
Yeah, the 86 is your pulse, 99 is your oxygen saturation. So that's what it should be. Okay, so you have to get it, and I say it's small enough. Sabrina, you can put that in your pocket and you walk around everywhere. It's very light.
It also comes with a
lanyard.
Yeah, a lanyard.
Okay,
Yeah.
now, real quick, but while Chris is gonna take his reading, Doc, how many times a day should people do this?
I just tell them check, 4 or 5 times a day, breakfast, dinner, and bedtime. You have to check them.
All right.
If you down below 95%, I would check every hour.
And
Because
it doesn't matter if you have COVID or not. You should be checking your levels. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Especially during this time.
Yeah, especially I tell you, if you have any comorbidity, I don't care how old you are, if you have multiple comorbidity, it's very important for you to check. If you are 18, 20, and 30 and you have no comorbidity, it's not as important. But if you're taking medication chronically, you have to be very cautious and use this thing. Like I said, they have a lot everywhere. Just go get it. They kind of they're not expensive. Some of them, like I say, around $18, $20. So
there's a question here, Doc. Can someone just have shallow breathing normally?
Yeah, even the shallow breathing, it doesn't affect the lung in exchange of oxygen. So even you can have shallow breathing, and your oxygen should be 99%, and have to go above 95%. The shallow breathing just has nothing to do with the exchange of oxygen. The only way that you can have problem with this thing, because the virus affect the ability for the lung to extract the oxygen, and you're going to drop the pulse oxygen saturation below 95%.
So that's across the board, Doc. So somebody who might be like asthmatic or a lifelong smoker, or like even like a competitive athlete on the other side and everything like that, the pulse ox reading should be consistent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's very rare. There's some chronic COPD people out there that run a very low oxygen. And those people know who they are. They usually have an oxygen supplementation at home. So those people will run low oxygen saturation, but those are very few in our community. So, but the rest of us should not run low in oxygen saturation.
Well, Doc, I'm at 96, 72.
Yeah,
97, 70.
But guys, this thing can change within an hour.
Yeah.
So someone
I should just walk around it with it on my finger all day?
Yeah. So someone can give you a thought, and an hour later, they crash. So it's really, really quick. So that's what you want to be careful on, monitor your oxygen saturation of pulse ox. Yeah. So, silent hypoxia is something very real on this one. And again, we talked about it during the second surge. We just didn't, mention that on this one until yesterday. But again, we really highly encourage people to do that all the time. Okay, so
and should we rely on a single reading, like every like say, Doc, if it goes low and everything like that, should we just try like another reading, or if it's like too high and say like take the average of 3, or is one pretty good?
If I have a 92, 91%, I keep it on. I would
keep it on.
it. And like I say, the symptom might be that you feel a little bit drowsy or you feel tired. Again, most people think that it's because they're sick, they feel that way, but it's not. So if you feel any symptom, time to go straight to emergency room. Don't go to the clinic, okay? We gotta go to ER. because you wasting your time. The clinic will transfer you to the emergency room if you hypoxic anyway. Okay. It's tough, but just hang tight because I tell you, we not anywhere come close to where we heading downward. I think we're a long way from heading downward.
All right. Well,
Damn, Jay, what's going on over there? You're 102. You right?
No, that was the heart rate.
Oh yeah. No, are you all right? No.
102.
We had a comment. What kind of coffee are you guys drinking? Yeah.
Okay, so Christopher, despite the I know that I don't want the adverse reaction we had the other day, that kind of whole optimization. Those are very, very, very rare. Okay, but the vaccines are very, very safe. Okay, do I fully support the vaccine? Yes, I tell you, I'm 110% support the vaccine. It's very safe. That's a rare incident that the person have, and the person have comorbidity. And so we kind of look at this incident and kind of learn and implement certain safety issue to the future outreach. Okay, but those are something you don't normally see. It's a zebra, it's a needle in a haystack that we're looking for, and so that's something that it should not concern anyone to get the vaccine. So if the time where it's my turn to get the third shot, I will get the third shot without any hesitance.
We did have a question, Doc. Are you guys giving the booster? Are we still looking at September 20th? Because now what's happening?
The FDA, right?
I mean, I'm getting people asking me if they can go get it.
Yeah, the booster is right now given to immunocompromised patient. Again, we are giving already. We give multiple booster to the people that have chemotherapy, people that have autoimmune disease, people are very high risk, that determined by physician. Hey, these people have their shot back in December and January, so we go ahead and give that. So yeah, booster already given already. Okay, the third shot will be hopefully for other people, and sometime in the next 2 weeks or so. But if I have a choice, I would tell you the healthcare worker, the front line, should already have already.
Wow.
Wait another week on the 20th don't make sense when you are at the top of the search right now. And as you can see, Lillian say that the healthcare worker already been sick. So we are bringing down our nursing staff, our physician. It hit the clinic already. Because once you're exposed to COVID patient all day long, you're gonna get it. So wait a week. I don't know. Sometimes we read too much in black and white. We got to use our head sometime.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay,
Any further questions, Sabrina?
No.
I think we just want to ask you to call your old buddies on the PAG and be like, hey.
Yeah, we still work together, guys. We have to work together on this one. Doesn't matter which side of the fence you are in, we have to work together, because I'm telling you, we have one common enemy, right? It's the COVID-19. So we got to put everything on the side and work together to fight this one. So we might have different opinion, but I tell you, you have to take opinion as a criticism to improve. That's the thing. So it's not because no one 100% right. I'm not 100% right. Nobody 100% right. But we have to be, listen, accept it, because there's one goal we have is people in farm, and we have to protect them.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Have a good day. Be
You
safe.
too.
Thanks, Doc.
You be safe. We got our pulse oximeter. We're good to go now. Masks off, everyone. We're okay.
We got to do the hourly oximeter check.
No,
Yeah,
hey, the pulse oximeter is the new mask. Make it fashionable. Get your alma mater on there.
Sabrina, Jason, can I say one thing?
Yes.
I really want to say thank you for the hospital.
Yes.
GMH, GRMC, Naval Hospital. I can't say thank you so much enough for those people that work in there. I tell you, they are the last line, and my hats to all of them. They really put themselves in front of their family and everything else. So they really deserve everything that we give to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Doc.
guys.
That's the word.
There you go. Dr. Hoa Nguyen, the former chair of the Physicians Advisory Group, 757. Thank you for coming to our TED Talk.
Yeah. I also, though, would like to say thank you to the medics out there, because they're the ones also, when you hear about the dead on arrival, they're responding to these expired persons at home,